My name is Austin Marks, and I'm currently a respiratory therapist. I've been in RT for about 2.5 years now. On my channel, I mainly talk about respiratory therapy. However, I do have a few other videos talking about a few other things. If you like what you see, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. I'm also the admin of a Facebook group called the RT Club, and on this Facebook group is full of respiratory therapists, respiratory therapy students, and we kind of talk about everything respiratory related on that page. So if someone has a question about something going on in the field, a student has a question about school, whatever, they can post it on there, we'll answer it and help them out. So I get asked this question quite frequently, and it's, hey Austin, do you enjoy working with adults more or with peds or babies? Where do you prefer? So with my 2.5 years, I've mainly worked with adults, so I feel much more comfortable with adults. However, I do have a level 2 NICU at the hospital that I currently work at, so I do work with babies, and then I do see pediatric patients within the ER most times, because my hospital does not have a pediatric unit. So what do I enjoy most? Adults, because I'm most comfortable with them, I understand them, so they're a little bit more predictable than babies or pediatric kids. So I also have my PALS, or my Pediatric Advanced Life-Saving certificate, as well as my Advanced Cardiopulmonary Life-Saving certificate. So therefore, that's primarily with adults and anything that's going on with them, just so I can basically help out in any emergency situation, whether it has to be pediatric, babies, or adults. I'm ready. So like I said, adults are a little bit more predictable. You kind of can tell what's going to happen compared to a child or a baby. They can go all which way directions, you have no idea. A lot of times when babies are in any kind of distress, they're fine, and then all of a sudden they're not. So they're really good at compensating, and then they stop. With adults, you can kind of tell, okay, they're going down the drain real quick. So that's one thing I don't want to say I enjoy, but it makes it a little bit easier when I'm working with the adults. So kids, they also have a lot of different things going on than adults. So kids, there's also a lot wider range of different things. So let's use this as an example. A 6 or 7 year old is going to have a different dosage than a 14 or 15 year old, depending on the size of the child, and so much goes into it. So with adults, I don't have to really think about that. Okay, here's the dosage, here you go, I know it off the top of my head. With kids, I don't know that off the top of my head. And when it comes to babies or toddlers, it gets a little bit even more difficult. So a lot of times they have something known as the Broslow tape. I put it up here. So this piece of tape will actually put a baby beside it, roll the tape out, and then whatever color the baby falls in within his height, okay, that section there tells us, okay, the baby's in the blue, we need to use this dosage for this medication, this size AT tube, all that other jazz. So it makes life a little bit easier, especially when we have a bunch of people who don't always work with pediatrics or babies, and we don't know exactly what to do off the top of our heads. Now, a lot of us are very confident in our skills, we know what we're doing, however, sometimes we have to think about it a little bit. So, stating all that, what do I want to tell you to do? Should you work with babies, peds, or adults? So I strongly suggest that as a new grad, you go into adults, just because most times when people start working with pediatric patients or babies, they like to stay in that realm. So I know a therapist who started in adults. They went into a pediatric hospital, loved it. They said they're never coming back to adults again. So then they're going to be in the exact situation that I'm in, where they know peds. Peds comes pretty easy to them. However, when it comes to adults, they don't really know what's going on. And that's okay. That's why we have different therapists at different things. But that's why I highly suggest that you do get a little bit of adult experience, because he does have that adult experience, and now he has the pediatric experience as well. So that's why I tell all my new grads is go for adults first. If you don't like it, okay, go to pediatric or babies. I know plenty of therapists who also work everywhere. So the larger hospital where I currently work, like the mother is that has everything. So there are therapists who literally do every single thing, and they love it because they're competent on their skills. It keeps them learning daily, because that's what medicine is you're learning daily. And especially if you're working with every single walk of life, you gotta know everything about everything, because anything can happen. And then the last question is, will I ever go to pediatrics or NICU? So at the moment, no, I'm comfortable where I'm at. Like I said before, I just got a night shift lead position. I enjoy being the night shift lead. And where I currently work, we're actually getting rid of our level 2 NICU, so I will lose some of my skills in that. So will I have to go back and learn all that stuff again? Most likely. But for right now, I'm just going to stay where I'm at. So another great thing about respiratory therapy is you can get certified in different things. So for adults, they have adult critical care specialists, and you can get specialized in adults and learn a little bit more in detail about different disease processes, what to do for different things. So within that course, or to get that certificate, it goes over different modes of ventilation a little bit more, such as like APRV, goes over a lot more different medications, just increases your knowledge on that. And if I was to go over to peds or neonatal, I would go ahead and get something known as the NPS certificate, which stands for the Neonatal Pediatric Specialist. So this would just increase my knowledge on peds and NICU again. That way I'd be up to date on everything, because personally, if I was taking care of those kids and then I had to bring a therapist from the adult world over and they didn't know diddly squat, I wouldn't want them to work on those kids unless it was something very simple as such as like a neb or something, until they got everything down. So I would want to make sure they have that NPS. So right now I do not have any of those certificates. However, in the near future I may go ahead and get one. But right now I don't know. Everything's up in the air. So if you have any questions about neonatal pediatrics, adult, or anything, and really, make sure you leave in the comments below. I'll try and get back to you. I do want to have an interview with a NICU therapist on here soon and just kind of get their whole perspective on everything, just kind of let you guys know anything that you want to know. So if you have any questions, like I said, leave in the comments below and I'll make sure that they can answer it. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one.